My name is Reverend Trust, and I'm representing Grace United Church, Weyburn. I will be reading Leviticus chapter 11 down to 14, and I'll be using the New King James Version of the Bible. Hear the word of God. Now the Lord spake to Moses and Aaron, saying to them, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, These are the animals which ye may eat among all the animals that are on the earth. Among the animals, whatever divided the hoof, having cloven hoofs, and chewing the cud, that ye may eat. Nevertheless, this ye shall not eat among those that chew the cud, or those that have cloven hoofs. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not have cloven hoofs, is unclean to you. The rocks, hyrax, because is chew the cud, but does not have cloven hoofs, is unclean to you. The hare, because it chews the cud, but does not have cloven hoofs, is unclean to you. The swine, though it divides the hoof, having cloven hoofs, yet does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Their flesh ye shall not eat, and their carcass you shall not touch. They are unclean to you. These you may eat of all that are in the water. Whatever in the water has fin and scales, whether in the seas or in the river, that ye may eat. But all in the sea or in the river that do not have fin and scales, all that moves in the water, or any living things which is in the water, they are an abomination to you. They shall be an abomination to you. You shall not eat their flesh, but ye shall regard their carcass as an abomination. Whatever in the water does not have fin or scale, that shall be an abomination to you. And these you shall regard as an abomination among the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination, an eagle, the vulture, the buzzard, the kite, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, the ostrich, the short-tailed owl, the seagull, and the hawk after its kind, the little owl, the fish owl, and the screw owl, the white owl, and the jackdaw, and the carrion, the vulture, the stork, the heron after its kind, the hoopie, and the bat, all flying insects that creep on all four shall be an abomination unto you. Yet these ye may eat of every flying insect that creeps on all four, those which have jointed legs above their feet, with which to leap on the water on the earth. These ye may eat: the locust after its kind, the destroying locust after its kind, the cricket after its kind, and the grasshopper after its kind. But all other flying insects which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. By these you shall become unclean. Whoever touches the carcass of any of them shall be unclean until evening. Whoever carries part of the carcass of any of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. The carcass of any animal which divides the foot, but it is not cloven hoof, or does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Everyone who touches it shall be unclean. And whatever goes on its paws among all kind of animals that go on all four, those are unclean to you. Whoever touches any such carcass shall be unclean until evening. Whoever carries any such carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. It is unclean to you. These also shall be unclean to you among the creeping things that creep on the earth, the mole, the mouse, and the large lizard after its kind, the gecko, the monitor lizard, the sand reptile, the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whoever touches them when they are dead shall be unclean until evening. Anything on which they fall when they are dead shall be unclean, whether it is any item of wood or anything or any skin or sack, whatever item it is in which any work is done, it must be put away in water, and it must be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean again. Any earthen vessel into which any of them fall, ye shall break, and whatever is in it shall be unclean. In such a vessel, any edible food upon which water falls become unclean, and any drink that may be drunk from it become unclean. And everything on which a part of all of any such carcass fall shall be unclean, whether it is an oven or cooking stove. It shall be broken down, for they are unclean, and shall be unclean to you. Nevertheless, a spring or a season in which there is plenty of water shall be clean, but whatever touches any such carcass become unclean. And if a part of such carcass fall on any planting seed which is to be sown, it remain clean. But if water is put on the seed, and if a part of any such carcass fall on it, it becomes unclean to you. And if any animal which you may eat dies, ye, he who touches its carcass shall be unclean until evening. He who eats of its carcass shall wash his clothes and be clean until evening. He also who carries its carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. And every creeping thing that creeps on the earth shall be an abomination. It shall not be eaten. Whatever crows on its belly, whatever goes on fours, or whatever has many feet among all creeping things that creep on earth, these ye shall not eat, for they are an abomination. You shall not make yourself abomination with any creeping things that creeps, nor shall ye make yourself unclean with them, lest ye be defiled by them. For I am the Lord your God. You shall therefore consecrate yourself as a holy, for I am holy. Neither shall you defile yourself with any creeping things that creeps on earth, for I am the Lord who brings you up out of the land of Egypt to your God. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the animals and the birds and every living creature that moves in the waters, and of every creature that creeps on the earth, to distinguish between the unclean and the clean, and between the animal that may be eaten and the animals that may not be eaten. Chapter 12. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a woman has conceived and bore a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, as in the days of her customary impurity, she shall be unclean. And on the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. It shall be continue in the blood of a purification 33 days shall she not touch any hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the day of her purification are fulfilled. But if she bears a female child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her customary impurity, and shall continue in blood of her purification 66 days. When the days of her purification are gone, whether for a son or a daughter, she shall bring to the priest a lamb of the first year as a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove as a sin offering to the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then shall she offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean from the flow of her blood. This is the law for how this is the law for her who has born a male or a female. And if she is not able to bring a lamb, then she may bring 2 turtle dove or 2 young pigeon, one as a burnt offering and the other as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for her, and she will be clean. Chapter 13. And the Lord spake to Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man has on the skin of his body a swelling, a scab, or a bright spot, and it became on the skin of his body like a leprous sore, then he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons, the priest. The priest shall examine the sore on the skin of the body, and if the hair on the sore has turned white, and the sore appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is a leprous sore. Then the priest shall examine him and pronounce him unclean. But if the bright spot is white on the skin of his body and does not appear to be deeper than the skin, and its hair has not turned white, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the sore 7 days. And the priest shall examine him on the 7th day, and indeed, if the sore appears to be as it was, and the sore has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall isolate him another 7 days. Then the priest shall examine him again on the 7th day, and indeed, if the sore had faded, and the sore has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is only a scab, and he shall wash his clothes with the clean, and will be clean. If the scab should at all spread over the skin after it has been seen by the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen by the priest again. And if the priest sees that the scab has indeed spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is leprosy. When the leprous sore is on a person, then he shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall examine him, and indeed, if the swelling on the skin is white, and it has turned the hair white, and there is a spot of raw flesh in the swelling, it is an old leprous on the skin of the body. The priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not isolate him, for he is unclean. And if leprosy breaks out all over the skin, the leprous cover all the skin of the one who has the sore from his head to the foot, who wherever the priest look, then the priest shall consider, and indeed, if the leprous has covered all his body, he shall pronounce him clean, who has the sore. It shall all turn white, he is clean. But when the raw flesh appear on him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall examine the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean, it is leprosy. Or if the raw flesh changes and turns white again, he shall come to the priest, and the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the salt has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. Who has the sore? He is clean. If the body develops a boil in the skin and it is healed, and the place of the boil there comes a white swelling or brought a spot, reddish white, then it shall be shown to the priest. And if when the priest sees it, it indeed appears deeper than the skin, and its hair has turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore which has broken out of the boil. If the priest examine it, and indeed there are no white hair on it, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. And if it should at all spread over the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the bright spot stays in one place and has not spread, it is the scar of the boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if the body receive a burn on its skin by fire, and the raw flesh of the bone become a bright spot, reddish white or white, then the priest shall examine it, and indeed, if the hair of the bright spot has turned white, and it appears deeper than the skin, it is leprosy broken out in the bone. Therefore, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the priest examine it, and indeed there are no white hair in the bright spot, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. And the priest shall examine him on the seventh day. If it has at all spread over the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the bright spot stays in one place and has not spread on the skin, but has faded, it is a swelling from the bone. The priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is the scar from the bone. If a man or a woman has a sore on the head or the beard, then the priest shall examine the sore, and indeed, if it appear deeper than the skin, and there is in it thin yellow hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a scaly leprous of the head or beard. But if the priest examine the scaly sore, and indeed it does not appear deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the scaly 7 days. And on the seventh day the priest shall examine the sore, and indeed if the scale has not spread, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the scale does not appear deeper than the skin, he shall shave himself, but the scale shall shall he not shave. And the priest shall isolate the one who has the scale another 7 days. On the seventh day the priest shall examine the scale, and indeed if the scale has not spread over the skin, and does not appear deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scale should at all spread over the skin after its cleansing, then the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the scale has spread over the skin, the priest need not seek for a yellow hair. He is unclean. But if the scale appear to be at a standstill, and there are black hair grown up in it, the scale has healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man or a woman has bright spot on the skin of the body, specifically white bright spot, then the priest shall look, and indeed, if the bright spot on the skin of the body are dull white. It is white spot that grew on the skin. He is clean. As for the man whose hair has fallen from his head, he is bald, but he is clean. He whose hair has fallen from his forehead, he is bald on the forehead, but he is clean. And if there is on the bald head or bald forehead a reddish white sore, it is leprosy breaking out on his bald head or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall examine it, and indeed, if the swelling of the sore is reddish white on his bald head or on his bald forehead, as the appearance of leprosy on the skin of the body, he is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall surely pronounce him unclean. His sore is on his head. Now the leper on whom the sore is, his clothes shall be torn, and his beard and his head bare, and shall cover his mustache, and cry, unclean, unclean. He shall be unclean all the days he has, and so he shall be unclean. He is unclean, and shall dwell alone. His dwelling shall be outside the camp. Also, if a garment has a leprous plague in it, whether it is woven garment or linen garment, whether it is the wrap or woof of linen or wool, whether it is leather or anything made of leather, and if the plague is greenish or reddish in the garment or in the leather, whether in the wrap or in the woof, or in anything made of leather, it is leprous. It is a leprous plague, and shall be shown to the priest. The priest shall examine the plague and isolate that which has the plague 7 days, and shall examine the plague on the seventh day. If the plague has spread in the garment, either in the wrap or in the woof, in the leather or anything made of leather, the plague is an active leprosy. It is unclean. He shall therefore burn that garment which is the plague, whether wrap or woof, or wool or linen, or anything of leather, for it is active leprous. The garment shall be burned in the fire. But if the priest examine it, and indeed the plague has not spread in the garment, either in the wrap or in the woof or anything made of leather, then the priest shall command that they wash the thing in which is the plague, and he shall isolate it another 7 days. Then the priest shall examine the plague after it has been washed. And indeed, if the plague has not changed its color, though the plague has not spread, it is unclean, and ye shall burn it in fire. It continues eating away, whether the damage is outside or inside. If the priest examine it, and indeed the plague has faded after washing it, then he shall tear it out of the garment, whether out of the wrap, or out of the woof, or out of the leather. But if it appear again in the garment, either in the wrap, or in the woof, or anything made of leather, it is a spread plague. Ye shall burn with fire that which is the plague. And if you shall wash the garment, either wrap or woof, or whether is made of leather, if the plague has disappeared from it, then it shall be washed a second time, and shall be made clean. This is the law of the leprous plague in a garment of wool or linen, either in the wrap or woof, or in anything made of leather, to pronounce it clean or to pronounce it unclean. Chapter 14. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This is the law of the leper for the days of his cleansing. it shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go out of the camp, and the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the leprosy is healed in the leper, then the priest shall command to take for him who is to be clean 2 living and clean birds, cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop, and the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. As if the living bird, he shall take it, the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water, and he shall sprinkle it 7 times on him who is to be cleansed from the leprosy, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose in the open field. He who is to be clean shall wash his clothes, shave off his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. After that he shall come into the camp, and shall stay outside his tent 7 days. But on the 7th day he shall shave all the hair off his head, and his beard, and his eyebrow. All his hair he shall shave off. He shall wash his clothes, and wash his body in water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take the 2 male lambs without blemish, 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain flour offering, and 1 log of oil. Then the priest who makes him clean shall present the man who is to be made clean, and those things before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And the priest shall take 1 male lamb and offer it as a trespass offering, and a log of oil, and wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then he shall kill the lamb in the place where he kills the sin offering and the burnt offering, in a holy place. For as the sin offering is of the priest, so is the trespass offering. It is most holy. The priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. Then the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle some of the oil with the finger 7 times before the Lord, and of the rest of the oil in his hand. The priest shall put some on top of his right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the blood of his trespass offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed. So the priest shall make atonement for him before the Lord. Then the priest shall offer the sin offering and make atonement for him who is to be cleansed from the uncleanness. Afterward he shall kill the burnt offering, and the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the grain offering and on the altar. So the priest shall make the atonement for him, and he shall be clean. But if the poor but if he is poor and cannot afford it, then he shall take 1 male lamb as a trespass offering to be waved, to be made atone for him, 1/10 of an ephod of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, a log of oil, and 2 turtle dove or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to afford. One shall be a sin offering and the other a burnt offering. He shall bring them to the priest on the eighth day for his cleansing, to be to the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb in the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of his blood of the trespass offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand. Then the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. And the priest shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, and on the place of the blood of the trespass offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed, to make atonement for him before the Lord. He shall offer one of the turtle dove or young pigeon, such as he can afford, such as he is able to afford, the one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering with the grain offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him who is to be cleansed before the Lord. This is the law for one who had a leprous sore, who cannot afford the usual cleansing. And the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, When ye have come into the land of Canaan, which I gave you as a possession, I put the leprous plague in a house in the land of your possession, and he who owns the house comes and tells the priest, saying, It seems to me that there is some plague in this house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest goes into it to examine the plague. That that's all that is in the house may not be made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go into into it and examine the house, and he shall examine the plague, and indeed if the plague is on the wall of the house with the ingrained streak, greenish or reddish, which appear to be deep in the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again on the seventh day and look. And indeed, if the plague has spread on the wall of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which is the plague, and they shall cast them into an unclean place outside the city, and shall cause the house to be scraped inside all around, and the dust shall they scrape off, they shall pour out in an unclean place outside the city. Then they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones, and he shall take other mortar and plaster the house. Now, if the plague comes back and breaks out in the house after he has taken away the stone, after he has scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look, and indeed if the plague has spread in the house, it is an active leprosy in the house, it is unclean. And he shall break down the house, its stones, its timber, and all the plaster of the house, and shall carry them outside the city to an unclean place. Moreover, he who goes into the house at all while it is shut up shall be unclean until evening, and he who lies down in the house shall wash his clothes, and he who eats in the house shall wash his clothes. But if the priest come in and examine it, and indeed the plague has not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, cedar wood, scarlet, and hyssop. Then he shall kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water, and he shall take the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And it shall clean the house with the blood of the bird and the running water and the living bird, with the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the scarlet. Then shall let the living bird loose outside the city in the open field, and make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for any leprous sore and scale, for the leprous of a garment of a house, for a swelling and a scab and a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. The Word of God.